Hi, welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway. I'm the preacher at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. And I want to thank you for joining me today as we open up the Bible and study the Word of God. Today we're in Hebrews chapter 3. Hebrews chapter 3, I'm going to look at the last few verses here, verses 16 through 19. Hebrews 3, starting with verse 16. And again, just to set the mindset before we get into that, is going back and talking about Moses, talking about wandering in the wilderness, talking about those who didn't make it, right? Those who God were upset with. And so it's kind of bringing that into point here. So verse 16 says, "For who having heard rebelled? Indeed, was it not all who came out of Egypt led by Moses? Now with whom was he angry for 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned, whose corpse fell in the wilderness? And to whom did he swear that they would not enter his rest, but to those who did not obey? So we see that they could not enter in because of unbelief." So as we take time to look at these few verses, it brings out a point for us to consider. Those who could not enter into the promised land, those who had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years, those who fell and died in the wilderness, again, not capable, not allowed to enter into the promised land. Who were they? Those who did not believe, those who did not obey, those who doubted our God, those who put their trust into men. That's what happened. Because if we go back and we study that area again, they send in the spies. The spies come back. You have two that come back, Caleb and Joshua, that say, this is a beautiful land. We can take it. Let's go take it. Let's go follow the commands of God. But then you had 10 that came back and said, these are giants. There's no way we could win. There's no way we could go against them. We were better off going back to Egypt. And they rebelled against God. They all complained, said that God brought them out there to die. And so God punished them. God had them wander in the wilderness until all who were above the age of 20, except for Caleb and Joshua, died. Why? Same reason people will miss out on the eternal kingdom of heaven today is because they do not believe and they do not obey. That's what we see here is an example for us to learn from. And the example is obedience by faith. Right? There was a lack of faith to cause them to obey our God. They were not willing to go and fight. They were not willing to cross the Jordan. They were not willing to do this. If we do not have enough faith to cause us to act, to obey our God, we too will miss out on the promised land, on the eternal home in heaven. And so let us study the Word of God so that we can gain a strong faith that will lead us to obedience and let us remain faithful to His service. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope everybody has a blessed day. And if the Lord is willing, I'll talk to you later.